Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, my introductions, feedback is greatly important. Questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, feel free to email me, reach out to me either through Substack, X, and of course, comments on YouTube is greatly appreciated. And I do respond, and I am interested in what you all think, so feel free to engage. All right, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on Spreaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. These are just a list of few of them. And I'm working my way to reaching that goal to where I'm on all of the audio platforms. That's a big goal, but I'm working on it. Okay, so this episode is all about casual wear and its implements in society and so forth, and my thoughts about casual wear. And I'm also going to go into talk about, high, I guess you could consider that high designer casual wear, and then, how that translates to casual wear, how that shapes the idea or the aspects of casual wear in our society, and so forth. Okay, here we are, and here we go. All right, so here is an AI-generated list about the origins of casual wear. So casual wear has a rich history that spans centuries, evolving from particular garments to a more relaxed and versatile style of clothing. So the origin of casual wear can be traced back to practical needs and societal changes. Okay, so in earlier times, casual wear was primarily worn by the working class for this particular easement of maintenance. So, for example, in the 1910s, casual clothes existed largely for practical reasons, from easy-to-clean materials like cotton or linen. So these garments are often more rugged and durable, comparably to the finely woven clothing worn by the upper class. So the introduction of the lounge suit in the early 1900s marked a significant shift in casual wear. So this initially was designed as a more comfortable alternative for formal dress codes in the lounge suit because it became a blueprint for the modern suit. All right, so by the 1920s, the lounge suit evolved into a more relaxed cut known as the sack suit. This is a shawl-collared cardigan sweater, and it began to replace jackets. So during the 30s, in the Great Depression era, this led to a practical approach to clothing, which is quite understandable. Everybody has to pitch pennies, as they say, and make use of what you have and, style accordingly to that. All right, so with durable fabrics like denim becoming more popular because, denim, when it's made right, with the right material, is long lasting. And so that's quite, understandable to want to have denim a part of your attire. And so this period also saw an increased willingness to mix formal and casual elements in outfits, such as wearing a leather jacket or a denim jacket with trousers. So when the 60s came about, and of course the 60s is all about the counterculture, so we get that transition from, conventional, traditional thought processes of how to dress, how to think, what to wear, to more free-flowing, different aspects about the ideas of what you should wear for everyday, with the aspects of everyday wear, the aspects of formal wear, aspects of what to wear when you're working, so forth. All right, so counterculture movement played a crucial role in shaping modern casual wear. All right, so designers like Coco Chanel introduced relaxed styles for women, incorporating elements from men's clothing. That's quite interesting. The aspects of how I really appreciate men's clothing, particularly with suits and tailored suits and so forth. It's very sleek, minimalistic style. It's very uniform. You can see that as that translates to different suits. And then it's altered according to the occasion. And that's quite innovative to do that, when you translate to the aspect of women's clothing, particularly high fashion, high-end clothing. You can get in the, what I mean by this is you can get in the mucky muck of getting carried away, being too elaborate, and it's easily to do when you're getting into aspects of clothes for women, because you get in the types of textiles with particularly if you are more suitable towards bold colors, you like sequins and so forth, and there's a lot of things you can play with the type of silks, and within that, a lot of things can come about, a lot of clothing styles can come about. And so, when you just look at it from a uniformal point of view and to staple that with everything that you design, as far as Coco Chanel with women's attire, particularly dresses and so forth, suits, so forth, you get more of a concise look, to where it doesn't look like it's all over the place or gaudy and so forth. You don't run the risk of doing that. And so from that, you can, you want to expand out. You can get more of a established look because of the process of having it so uniform. And it's taking it, this is from my point of view, taking it upscale a notch, or being more outside of the box, being more creative with the image of Chanel. It's more noticeable because of how uniform the style is. It's easy to translate that. It might not be easy, but my point is it's easy to, mess with the play with the details, that so forth, with accents and things, and, bringing it up to a modern level if you want to, and so forth. There's something to think about there. All right, so moving on. So it says, such as trousers and jerseys and dresses. So the shift towards casual wear and which were further influenced by popularity of athletic gear and sportswear, including jogging suits and track clothing. So by the 90s, particularly the era I grew up in, casual wear was all over the place, particularly with, I wouldn't say just with rock music. I would say that was just the flow of the time. When you get in the aspects of wearing leggings and big blouses. And that was prevalent a lot, I would say, more so with the 80s with that style. And you get a bowler hat, so forth. And translating, expanding that out into the 90s where, you get different flair And then you get in the aspects of wearing bicycle shorts and so forth, and mixing that up with the look. And then you get into the aspects of jeans being more and more prevalent, wearing that more and more prevalent, and then t-shirts, and then particularly with at the time with the different aspects of rock music, rock bands coming out, and then merchandise was getting more and more prevalent and getting more and more mainstream, I guess you can say, with the aspects of just, particularly going to a rock concert, and then, you just you see a shirt you like, you just happen to get it. But, you can go to stores like Sam Goody's at that time and so forth, and then go in the mall, and then the aspects of Spencer's and so forth, stuff like that. And changing the shape of what people were wearing as far as casual means. And then, you get in the aspects of translating that into a more mature look when you think about that with the aspects of department stores like Sears, and then department stores like the staple of Macy's changing the attire, what is being, and the categories of wear and so forth. And here we go. So in the 1990s, casual wear became more diverse with influences from hip-hop fashion, which featured elaborate jewelry and luxurious materials combined with athletic gear. So today, casual wear encompasses a wide range of styles and materials reflecting a blend of practical comfort and personal expression. All right, so I'm going to expand onto this and give some more thoughts, and then I'm going to get into the more facts about casual wear. All right, so my thoughts about casual wear. All right, so to wrap it up in a nutshell, I think, casual wear boils down to the type of personality, and also about within that personality, about the kind of care and look you want to have. I mean, even with casual wear, it can still look like above average, or like it's something that's not just slapped together. It has to do with a lot of details, with matching and so forth, with those aspects about it. I think from my point of view, for instance, in the higher end design of casual wear, there's certain looks, like for instance, maxi dresses versus work attire dresses and so forth. That's business casual, where business casual equates that as formal professional, but it's not as, assuming or as assertive as you can say, as is just traditionally, business with dresses, suits, so forth, things like that. And also certain brands evoke certain aspects about the kind of persona that the person is looking for too, or what's attracted to. So, there's LLB, and I want to get into this, about the more well-known higher end casual wear brands here. From the LL Beans to the J. Crew to the Tommy Hilfiger and so forth. They all acquire a certain look and a certain mystique or persona that goes around that. So, for instance, LL Bean, it's all about adventure, outdoor, things of that nature. So, you get into the aspects of casual, yeah, but it's also in the aspects of being efficient and being durable and trustworthy in the material and everything that you're buying and that you're using to get you through the weather elements or to get you through the adventure that you're embarking on and your travels in nature and being outdoors, being that type of person versus the other brands that I was saying. They are centered around the aspects of American laid back looks. And I think that's something to really consider here when we talk about the aspects of casual wear. All right, enough said, just going to get into the facts of everything. Here we go. All right, so this is considered a deep dive about the aspects of casual wear and its evolution and how you get these cultures within the casual wear. And then, it makes a whole lot of sense with the aspects of how that shapes pop culture too. All right, so here we go. It says casual style is the epitome of laid-back elegance, offering a blend of comfort and chic that epitomizes urban sophistication. And of course, this source will be provided for you in this episode here. So it is the fashion sweetheart that we've all embraced. We're known for its adaptability, and easygoing vibe. All right, so the history. So it's talking about Teddy Boys. It's talking about the aspects of skinheads with punk rock and everything, and football fans, and Teddy Boys with the aspect of the teeny boppers from the 1950s and so forth. So that's quite interesting, before I get into the aspects here about everything. So, case in point, Elvis Presley, with his influence on music and his influence on culture, that it was already being more prevalent, more pressing about the rebel without a cause look, that bad boy type of look. But it's quite interesting how this article breaks everything down. So I'm just giving my point of view about it. So, there's a lot of controversy that goes within Elvis. Is, see it for what it is. It's just unfortunate when that gets into the aspects of, some people, when they think about Elvis, is he's stealing music from black people and so forth, which wasn't the case. He was just making a genre more popularized, and that, what's wrong with that? And then, so forth and so on. And so my point being is he bonded us a whole culture within the realm of music and fashion too. So, with the aspects of, you got to watch out for him. You got to watch out for him. He's going to, and then the influence on our youth culture, he's going to shift the dynamic, and people are going to be more, our youth is going to be more vulgar, more, promiscuous and so forth. And that also reigned in the aspects of the teeny boppers that we think about today and so forth, with teen idols and so forth. And now along the lines, it's not so much when I was coming up in the early 2000s with boy bands and so forth, but now it's more, international with K-pop and J-pop too and stuff like that, how that, influences our culture and then in itself brings out all these different styles here. And then, with skinheads and stuff like that, talking about that, with that's linking to punk rock music and so forth. And that brings its own subculture too. And the aspect of jerseys and wearing your favorite tees, being, loyal to your football team and so forth. That brings in a whole nother subculture too. And a whole another mentality about the aspects of athletic gear and athletic wear. All right, so All right, so it says comfort was embraced in the first half of the 20th century. So the casual style was relished as the look as it is today, was defined more in the late 40s and 50s. So flourishing alongside teddy boy subculture. So what is this? So the term teddy boy came to life in 53 specifically, encapsulating the essence of young, spirited men from the working class who boldly mirrored the aristocratic upper class, cloaking themselves in the sophisticated allure of the Edwardian era. Their style was a parade of finesse, flaunting, meticulous, tailored, tight, cropped trousers, suave jackets, and velvet collars. Meticulously slicked back hair, the Bobby Sockers here. Refined shoes and color palettes that dance between shades of gray, beige, brown, and black, often adorned with tasteful checkered patterns, cheek patterns. Although initially a masculine trend, the teddy boy charm quickly captivated women who embraced the trend. So this intertwined men's tailor suits with the rock and roll flamboyance of here, as I was saying, by Elvis Presley, inspired hairstyles with that pompadour and so forth. And it's quite interesting how that resurfaced itself about how within the culture it sets trends, but it's also nostalgia within that culture. So what I'm talking about here is how the 50s resurfaced itself back in the 80s and so forth, and how that spreads out into the international appeal, particularly in the Asian culture with the aspects of Bobby soccer movement and so forth, and all of this, and how that changes and shifts and stands the test of time. All right, so fast forward to the 1960s, where the mod subculture took the baton. Yeah, and you get that free will spirit and so forth, and that moxie, and the Mod Squad, for instance, really encapsulated the aspect of the culture in which they were living, that fast-paced, gritty sort of here and now sort of mentality, sleek, young, tailored, going along the lines of the aspect of moving on and bigger and so forth, with the aspect of the MTV generation and so forth. And, first generations of MTV, and then, second generations with Gen X and stuff. So, while Italy's cinematic glamour is often credited for inspiring the moods, which is quite understandable and makes a lot of sense, when you get in the aspects of the different actresses like Brigitte Bardot and so forth, and you get that was very sought after at that time, in the 60s, to have that European look. So its echoes of the style resonated through France and stirred by the avant-garde French New Wave cinema, further enriching the classical styles and diverse heritage. So the Beatles, which is the iconic British band, didn't just gift the world with their music. They, in turn, took mod look into a global sensation. And that, I would say that too. Yes, absolutely. They really tailored that and uniformed that into a household name, the aspects of the mod look. So as the 70s unfolded, the mod scene split into two distinct paths. The suit aficionados and the burgeoning skinhead culture, as I was saying about the tongue-tied here. Well, it's one of those things when you have it in your head and it's just not coming out sometimes. The punk rock movement, as I was mentioning earlier. Okay, initially, skinheads were the working class vocal opponents of the bourgeoisie. So their style, a badge of defiance, but their narrative look of nationalism turned into the subsequent decades. So the disdain for mod wasn't just about fashion, it was a clash of class ideologies. So with their own style deeply rooted in their working class identity. So again, you see this aspect of how political structure does shape the form of what people wear. And so, people get that, but it's very nice to see it written in form and explained like that. So, that can take a twofold turn with the aspects of being in a, gritty life, working class life. You can take either two turns where, you let it, you rage against it and you let it just totally take over your mentality. You become this angry, bitter person, which is a lot of the culture here with punk rock movement or the punk rock scene and so forth. Specifically, it was more political, as we get into the 90s when we talk about the aspects of the thought process, the philosophy of Riot Girls and so forth. They were really about the aspects of the political arena of feminism and so forth. But going back to here, and then but also that's what's the really good thing about music. It can give a voice or uplift a voice to people who not necessarily wouldn't have one, or and it attract a certain type of people, other people, other cultures, which you think it would be unexpected, you wouldn't think. So, for instance, the aspects of metal and the aspects of prog rock and so forth, things like that. It's really prevalent throughout that culture, but it's also transcends to other ethnicities and so forth. For me, I like that type of music, metal. It resonates with me and so forth. And then there's certain, type of punk rock music that I like too. So, for the instance, for the Clash, it's more on my pace because it's more subtle. It's not so angry and violent and thrashing as if with the Sex Pistols and so forth and other bands like that, like the Sex Pistols. But for the most part, it gives more depth when you hear it and you listen. It has a lot more depth in it with the aspects of, again, being given a voice and being given an amplifier to make commentary about the world around you. And just being frank and honest about it. And I think that's why a lot of people like The Clash. That's particularly why I like The Clash. And it's unfortunate that the lead frontman of The Clash is no longer here on this earth. But a lot of stuff that they say, it really resonates with a lot of people, and then when you're a certain age and so forth, when you're young and you're in your early 20s and so forth, and even so, throughout, just good music is just good music, and it stays with you as you age too. But my whole point is, for instance, Lost in the Supermarket, making commentary about the mundane aspects and the changes that can happen in your society simply in a supermarket, and what that entails with what your culture or your society values. And there's something to really consider about the aspects of fashion too, how that does, it does state what you think and feel and so forth. Because again, what you wear and the fashion that you like and so forth is a walking billboard about who you are. So by the late 70s, Britain witnessed an unexpected trend. Football matches became the runway for fashion statements, igniting the rise of the hooligan fans, many of whom embraced the skinhead look. So their unique style and blazed are envisioned with logos of their beloved football teams became a symbol of their alliance. So it goes on to say, talking about to dodge the ever-watchful eyes of the police, they adopted a more subdued wardrobe, emerging quintessential British sportswear with timeless classics. This fusion eventually coined the term casuals, a style that transcended the football terraces to become a mainstream fashion phenomenon, blending the rebellion of the Strand with the sophistication of everyday attire. So in this, loyal fans weren't just cheering for their teams, they were on a global fashion expedition, scouting the contents and everything with that, and bringing back a trove of fresh brands to England. So each aiming to stretch their football club spirits into unique brand partnerships. So the British fans' casual style became a showcase of more than just team loyalty. It was a pride of polo shirts and the perfect jeans, cozy jumpers, stylish parkas, and the coolest sneakers and trainers, all chosen with an eye for comfort, impeccably quality, and solid brand identity. So iconic labels like CP Company, Stone Island, and Fila transformed into the embodiment of the symbol of casual wear. So this was synonymous with the spirited hooligan culture. Meanwhile, brands traditionally celebrated on the tennis courts like for lacrosse, Fred Perry, and so forth, found a new home in the heart of British football fandom. So trading their tennis whites for the vibrant palette of football casual. So this fashion evolved, blurred the lines between these sports as tennis brands seamlessly merged into the football scene, and of course specific identities to embrace the broader, more versatile appeal of the world of fashion. It's quite interesting how, what goes on in Britain with the aspect of shaping the culture of casual wear and football wear and sport fandom in America, how those things translate to one another over time. So I'll skip. So the British fan style didn't just leap over the local fence. It valued across international borders with flair. Thanks to the die-hard loyalty and trend-setting taste of football enthusiasts, the casual style scored big, becoming a worldwide sensation by the mid-'80s. This was just the cusp of it. It was hitting the high fashion runways with luxury labels like Burberry, Armani, and Ralph Lauren, just to name a few. And yes, Ralph Lauren had a, certain look where it's more polished, upscale, casual wear. But yeah, it's nice. It's interesting to see how that evolved over time to be more, high couture fashion and some of the stuff that they have and so forth with the Ralph Lauren label. And, Burberry is uniquely British because that's a British fashion company and so forth. So, in Armani, how that, it's interesting how that changed the aspect of making, business suits or business attire, business casual more fashionable and so forth. All right, so once this fan-inspired fashion strutted onto the catwalks, it transcends into football origin. For over 40 years, the casual style has been in a league of its own, continually reinventing itself while staying true to its roots of comfort and effortless cool. All right, so we're getting into the subcategory styles of casual. So we got business casual, then we got smart casual, we got casual chic, we got sports casual. Here we go. So business casual. So in the 80s, yes, it was very, very prevalent with being a business person, being in business, being a tier of your company, being the captain of industry, being in, particularly with the aspect of Wall Street, going to Wall Street to making your money and so forth, with that aspect of being tagged as line of the yuppie movement or yuppie culture, saying, people with the aspects of those who know, but I'm just getting a rundown of it. But, aspirations of being very successful, with that ensued going to college and then so forth. And then getting into the business industry, leading innovative companies to make money and live luxurious lives. So, in the 1980s, rebels morphing into the boardroom, and this links into the mid-2000s, where the spirit of the Teddy Boys meets the modern-day Maverick. It's where comfort with conformability and practicality gets a stylish twist. So, untucked blue shirts here and loosely knotted tie, or a chic blouse paired with sleek trousers, perfect for the presentation, as they're saying, and cool vibes after work drinks. So, picture as the epitome for a man, Gordon Gekko of the times, and then, that leaks into Wolf of Wall Street here, with that negative connotation, but the style in itself here. And then, with women asserting their power, is specifically in the 80s, and it settled itself out towards the 90s and the 2000s, where, particularly in the 90s, where it was more of femininity and so forth, and instead of competing with that male-centric identity, I got to be a part of above the rest and assert my power. So, you get blazers that are padded, so it looks like they're linebackers walking there in the boardrooms or so forth. But that's something to think about here. And, now today with the aspects of casual Fridays, more along the lines of that, and how they encompass a certain culture within that, and then the aspects of business casual and so forth, how that, the dynamic shifts towards being, not more subtle with the aspects of business wear. Smart casual. So this is a effortless polish at work look. So it's a mix and match, and it's relaxed elegance of jeans with the sharpness of a blazer, or to opt out for simple snug dresses and sweaters. It's all about the line between relaxed and refined, ensuring you're ready for a spontaneous client meeting or a casual Friday that turns into a night out. Casual chic. So business casual, it steals the spotlight with the unstated allure. So it is the darling of the street style Illuminatis, where simplicity is simplistic, but along the same range of the simplicity It is very sophisticated. So it says, picture this, the effortless glamour of the 60s, the Italian, and international Vogue chic look of that, and so forth. Going back to the mod legacy again. All right, so sports casual, born in the eclectic buzz of football, this style scores with the sporty essence of tailored look for everyday life rather than the game. So it embraces the day in polo shirts, snug puffer vests, and versatile track jackets. Bomber or hoodie for a casual yet chic vibe, and it's paired with jeans and sneakers or canvas shoes. All right, that's something to consider. It's very interesting. It even has the aspects of more things if you're interested about color schemes and so forth. All right, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to wrap everything up about top casual designers and give my thought process of why they're considered top, from my point of view. All right, so this is AI generated. Instead of just reading, not only reading it, but also giving some thoughts about it, too, as I read. So Calvin Klein, so known for its casual workwear with a minimalist aesthetic, Calvin Klein is a top designer brand that offers a range of casual clothing, including jeans, underwear, and accessories. All right, so with Calvin Klein, particularly in the 80s with Brooke Shields and his lace in the 90s and so forth, I think marketing is the key buying. The advertisement really packed in the punch for this brand here. You get that risque stuff. They were starting to do more risque stuff and making that more stream to be more risque with the aspects of sex sales and so forth. And then blurring the lines with that, with youth and so forth, and, begging the questions about that controversy even more with the aspects of Brooke Shields. That she was underage at the time, and the aspects of that, and it's like, well, what are you trying to promote? And then going on into the 90s and so forth with Kate Moss and then Marky Mark, with the aspects of youth culture, but also it's more subtle. And then, getting explorations of redefining the aspects of sensuality and so forth. And then also with the aspects of heightened sensuality up with a lot of the billboard campaigns were in black and white and so forth. Okay. Stella McCartney. With the focus on sustainability and comfort, Stella McCartney's casual wear collections are perfect for those who want to look good while also doing good for the planet. Now, Stella McCartney is quite unique because, celebrities showcase at fashion shows. That goes without saying, but it's more prevalent with her shows because of her heritage with Paul McCartney and everything, being the daughter. And then so forth. And then it's a star-studded event when you go to the runway shows. And there's something to think about when the aspects of her brand, more like a celebrity clientele brand, I guess you can say. And then I'm going to end and talk about Gucci and Off-White. So the luxury streetwear brand is known for its modern style and designs, which often feature bold graphics and urban-inspired prints, making it top choice for casual fashion enthusiasts. So Off-White, it's like, it gives that mentality or that feel to me about the aspects of, more stylish street fashion, tailoring that, and that I think that gives it that it's cutting edge, and why people remember that brand or know about that brand or recognize that brand, or so forth, who don't particularly know about it. So Gucci, and I think Gucci goes along the same lines of the aspects here of Calvin Klein, with again the aspects that's of sex selling, and how to go back a lot of the times that were showcased with the advertisement with Gucci. It goes back to that very Italian, and very utilizing raw sensuality and so forth. And that was even more prevalent with the Guess jeans and so forth, with the aspects in the 90s where you have the high ultra sensual woman, and the embracing and just seeping out with the aspects of femininity, and the aspect of that branding itself into a certain type of look or style of Guess jeans. When you think of Guess jeans, you think of being very sleek, very tight fitting, form fitting, to where you show off your curves and you feel very confident in your body. And it's supposed to, particularly for women, it's supposed to evoke that sort of embodiment of being super comfortable with how you look and how you feel, and being very feminine, and being very alluring in your femininity, feeling confident in your impact as a woman, and the impact that is, in this case, your sensuality. And that's something to think about here and to consider. So I'd like to know what you all think about the aspects of different brands and labels, and the aspects of casual wear in our society. So feel free to reach out to me either through email, Substack, X, and of course fill up those comments on YouTube. Alright, so this reaches the end. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care. So I'm going to do something different on Friday here. So I'm going to end and talk about Rachel Zoe instead of, I'll get back to the normal format next week. I'm just going to end and talk about Rachel Zoe and Rachel Zoe project to end out this month with fashion. But on Fridays, I'm going to continue that out with fashion, as the months go on here, to, again, fashion is another aspect of what different cultures are saying about themselves. And so I'm going to extend it out until I get into the second aspect of what I want to surface on about literature, and how that's impactful in our society. And I'm going to link that into my appreciation for all of you listeners out there on Fridays, and showcase literature from out the cities, countries, and so forth. Thank you so much for your listening to me, and for your support. Thank you. Just listening is very impactful, and I see how much you all listen. Thank you so much. And if you want to hear, I'm working on that too. You want to hear more content, if you, now I do that on Sundays, where I post exclusively for the supporters, but I also post for free on Sundays. If you want to hear my messages in a bottle and you want my full canon, go ahead and click on that support link. But also, if you want more exclusive content, and I'm working on that throughout the coming months, be a supporter. All right. This was the Harboring Light. Bye-bye for now.